These scary prison escapes will leave you shocked to your core. By watching these infamous prison escapes, you can surely feel your spine tingling with shivers. Number 3. This thrilling helicopter escape will leave you awestruck. Reminiscent of the Great Escape, these two daring inmates, Houdan Barboa and Danny Provencal, hatched a brazen escape plan from Saint Jerome, Quebec Detention Center. In 2013, that was caught on video. The details of their escape were captured on video, showcasing their audacity and determination. With nerves of steel and adrenaline pumping through their veins, they are clinging to the rope, making their way towards the awaiting helicopter. The intense atmosphere is heightened by the presence of two armed accomplices who were already aboard the aircraft. As the footage unfolds, it becomes evident that the duo encounters some challenges while attempting to reach the rooftop. Gripping tightly onto the rope, which was securely fastened to the helicopter, they struggled to hoist themselves up. One of the accomplices reached his hand out to the inmate, but unfortunately, the inmate slips and slides back down. Undeterred by the setback, you can see the accomplice even try to drag them up by pulling the rope, but it gets difficult. So the trio of cons decides to take the matter into their own hands. In the helicopter, with the engine roaring, the helicopter takes off from the rooftop, leaving the ground behind and carrying both Houdan Barboa and Danny Provencal to temporary freedom. However, their taste of liberty was short-lived, as the authorities seized the helicopter and forced them to fly back to jail swiftly a few hours later, putting an end to their thrilling escape. Not just that. In the brazen escape 2 years later, Danny Provencal pled guilty to escaping from prison. As a result, he received an additional 7 years to his already lengthy prison term. Houdan Barboa, 38, and the other man were apprehended shortly thereafter. Houdan Barboa is facing a 7-year prison sentence, in addition to the 82-month term he was given back in 2012. This incident serves as a stark reminder the lengths some individuals are willing to go to regain their freedom, even within the confines of a prison. But the next escape is a true example of it. Number 2. This is a scene that feels straight out of a movie. As the camera pans, we see rows upon rows of prison cells, inmates dressed in orange, in a bustling atmosphere. Push-ups, haircuts, and vigilant lookouts are in action. Let's focus on this particular spot. Behind this raised sheet, there's a secretive transaction taking place within the cell. Once again, we observe a lookout positioned, working as a vigilante. Interestingly, the sheet is swiftly lowered just as two officers enter the vicinity. As one officer proceeds towards the cell to retrieve the sheet, the two inmates who were previously inside begin walking towards the stairwell. Curiously, one of them turns back to engage the officers in conversation, effectively diverting their attention, while the other inmate proceeds to ascend to the 3rd floor. It is on this floor where another exchange occurs. However, what we failed to reveal earlier is that while the inmate is biding his time on the 3rd floor, another inmate surrounds the officers as they enter the stairwell, creating a potentially dangerous situation. Look closely. The two officers are stuck in the stairwell, their exit completely blocked. The officers found themselves stuck between the 1st and 2nd levels for nearly 90 seconds. Just then, another officer approached and engaged with the group. The inmates then released the pair as additional staff members showed up. The officers were very fortunate. 8 inmates were given disciplinary reports for the incident. But afterwards, no disciplinary action was taken, and this incident ended smoothly. But what if these cunning inmates were successful in their meticulous orchestrated plan? Should they be disciplined for this? Before we get into our last clip, be sure to subscribe if you are enjoying the video and want to see more just like this one. Number 1. The following shocking prison escape feels like a scene you can picture in a found-footage horror movie.
My name is Adam Hussein Nayeri.
He even gives a thumbs up after squeezing past the vent. Very impressive. The inmate removed a leg from a bunk and proceeded to create an opening in the air vent, enabling them to sneak into the inner walls of the prison while the Mission Impossible theme played in the background. See how an inmate proudly poses with his makeshift ladder made from ropes and bed sheets? They maneuver through a labyrinth of metallic plumbing tunnels, effortlessly shattering every metal grate that stood in their way. After successfully reaching the roof, they get so cocky that they displayed their confidence by posing to take another victorious photo. Using rope that they managed to sneak into the prison, they descended 5 stories by scaling down. Once they were safely away from the prison, they kidnapped a taxi driver and coerced him into driving them a staggering 400 miles north to San Francisco. Upon arriving in San Francisco, they seemed to adopt a carefree attitude, behaving more like tourists on a road trip rather than fugitives on the run. A frantic manhunt was launched after 3 inmates charged with violent crimes including torture and murder. Dung and Nayeri got into a fight over whether they should kill the taxi driver or not. Dung decided to part ways and brought Ma back with him to Orange County and surrendered on January 29th. The next day, Nayeri and To were arrested in San Francisco. Nayeri, the mastermind, was found guilty of a prison escape and van theft, but was not convicted of kidnapping the cab driver, Long Ma. As a result, he received an extra 2 years and 8 months for the escape, in addition to his life sentence for kidnapping the marijuana dispensary owner. Dung, on the other hand, was sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2022. In April 2023, the 2 pleaded guilty to escape and kidnapping charges, receiving 8 years in prison. Nayeri even apologized. These prison escapes caught on camera were very audacious. But do you want to watch something more daring? I can promise you that after you check out this video on our channel, you will never be the same.